Lord Jesus, there's a fire. I ain't got no time for that. Ain't got no time for that. Ain't got no time for that. All right. It is 11/3/2012. This is going to be your daily activity for today, and we are going to start the Renaissance and the Reformation packet. Before we do that, let's clarify a few things. Clarification. Say it with me. Clarification. To clarify, you need to hand in the packet. The packet for medieval Europe looks like this, is now due. Anything not handed in today will be added a deduction of points for it being late. So it is out of 270 points. It is a test grade. You've had more than enough time to finish it, so hopefully you have, and you can finish up this semester real strongly with a good grade on that. So, any questions about that? If there are, raise your hand. Hey, Miss Willie. And you can ask me, and we can address any of that. So again, that's the first thing. Make sure that that is handed in. There will be no more class time for it. So if I see you working on it, I'll ask you to put it away. For the daily activity, the date again, 11/3/2012. The title, What I Did Over the Weekend. Summary, what you did over the weekend. Learning target is going to be describe the term Renaissance. RENAISSANCE. Real fast for you. RENAISSANCE. RENAISSANCE. Yeah, alright. Alright, so once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and move on with our packet. Not sure how I'm going to do that. I'll let you know on our post for Edmodo or at the beginning of class. Either I'm going to have you print that off from Edmodo, or I'll go ahead and run copies for you already. Either way, let's go ahead and go to the first page here. This is a picture of what? What is this a picture of? I want you to go ahead and write up on the top right, what is this picture called? What is it called? Put the answer right there. Don't forget your name. Don't forget the, instead of due date, just put your period. I don't really care about the due date. Want you to go ahead and research this picture and give me 3 characteristics about it, or 3 facts, and you can put that simply right at the bottom. 3 facts, 1, 2, and 3. Give me a sec. Make sure you're pausing and completing each one of these activities so you get full credit. Alright, so once you're done with all that, you can move on. You take a look at the inside page here, just showing you everything that we're going to do. The requirements, the different types of activities and worksheets. You'll notice on page 2 just kind of reiterating some of those things. Then page 3 starts lesson 1. So let's go ahead and get started. We will probably be done with this packet by the end of the week. And so we have to move on to the age of exploration, and knowing we only have 3 weeks left, this one's going to be very quick. So don't fall behind, and if you do, remember it's online, it's on Edmodo, you can get it done anytime. Alright, lesson 1, the Renaissance, which now you know means rebirth. During the medieval times, remember, it was dark, it was gloomy, not a lot of people were happy. And so the Renaissance occurs, and people are like, let's have a rebirth of when the times were good. And so basically that's why they call it the Renaissance. The objective here is explain the historical belief present following the plague. What plague are they talking about? Why don't you write that right above it? What plague? What plague did we just study that they're talking about there? So define what plague they're talking about. And so basically mankind had entered a new age of achievement. The Italian Renaissance. Renaissance means rebirth. In this case, the Renaissance was the rebirth of learning following the devastation of the plague. specifically a rebirth of ancient Greece and Rome. So again, the Black Death was bad. Everybody was dying. It was gloomy. Oh my gosh, chaos. And so basically they're saying, hey, let's go ahead and revisit when times were good. And what times were those? Those were those of the ancient Greeks and Romans. B, Europe following the plague was urban and secular. I want you to go ahead and define those two words for me, urban and secular. So after the plague, it is now going to be urban and secular as opposed to before when it was more rural and religious. So define those two words for me. Let's go ahead and go down to letter C. Recovery from the chaos of the plague. Years also involve people becoming intensely interested in the historical culture of the Mediterranean region, especially Greek and Roman. This interest was reflected deeply in Renaissance art. So, a good example of Renaissance art was the picture at the front of this packet, which was the Mona Lisa. So what I want you to do there is off to the side, I want you to come up with 3 more examples of what Renaissance art looked like. You can name particular pictures, whatever, architecture, it doesn't really matter, just, but what are 3 more examples of Renaissance art? Give me a second. Okay, make sure you get that done and then move on. Letter D. Major theme of the Renaissance involved a new view of human beings, specifically that people had value, worth, and ability. Before, during the plague, and before that even, you know, human worth wasn't that much. But now all of a sudden there's going to be a high emphasis on the value of a person, the worth and the ability of people. Number 1, this is best reflected in art by showing powerful people in nude form. They believe that that's how people really were. Don't get all crazy. Nude pictures. Come on, I ain't talking about no nasty stuff. This is Renaissance art. And so basically they thought, you know, since these people were worthy and had the ability and value, they wanted to show people exactly how they were, and that was nude. Don't look none of that up. Don't do it. 2, this also gave the rise to the ideal of the Renaissance man, the idea that a well-rounded universal person could be great at many things. And the best example of that was Leonardo da Vinci. He was a painter, a sculptor, an architect, an inventor, and a mathematician. I would like to watch some videos on him because there are some really good ones, but I'm not sure if we're going to have time for that. So at the bottom of that page, I want you to write 5 facts about Leonardo da Vinci, who, again, was a perfect example of a Renaissance man. And when they say man, it doesn't necessarily mean just gender of men. I mean, it could be man, woman, but just someone that was good at lots of different things. What would be a good example of that? Me! The bomb at everything, dog. Come on now. So 5 examples at the bottom about Leonardo da Vinci. And then, off to the side of number 3 there, after you get the 5 examples, off to the side here, I want you to come up with a Renaissance man of today. Who would you consider a Renaissance man of today? Someone that's good at lots of different things. All right, letter E. Renaissance art was based on the generosity of patrons, and those are people who supported artists financially. So a lot of these individuals like Leonardo, Michelangelo, all those people sometimes didn't have a lot of money, and so who they had were patrons, and these are people that had a lot of money and could support them so they could make their art. Let's go down to, let's see, 2 great patrons of the Renaissance were. So these are 2 great patrons. They are going to support a lot of these artists during the time. That's the Medici family, and that is the Catholic Church. So those 2 are going to have a lot of influence on the people that were creating the art at the time. All right. So hopefully you've completed all the things that I've asked you to complete. Turning to page 4, you have the lesson 1 review. you can use your book. It does tell you pages in your world history book. Those are in the back there or back there. I'm not sure where you're sitting at, or back there or over there. Just depends on where you're sitting, but it's in the far corner. Grab one if you'd like. It does tell you the page number. You can find the answer. However, you can also find it in the packet, and you can find it online. So at the end of the period today, you should have completed Lesson 1 and been completely finished with the Lesson 1 review. So, and be ready to move on to Lesson 2. Now, if you turn the page to page 5, a couple things here. I want you, for the picture it, I want you to draw a picture of an example of Renaissance art. On the note summary, 3 of the most important things. Give me a second. Important things from this lesson. Okay, and then for the unit exam, I should know. Let's see. Could you live during these times? And explain. Hold on. Hold on. So, could you live during these times and explain? Okay, so don't forget to explain. Showing me how you're thinking, okay? All right, so if you get done with all that, of course, you can go back and finish our Medieval Europe packet. Hopefully, you're already done with that. Ooh. Ooh. Lord Jesus, there's a fire. I was going downstairs to drink me a pop. Anyways, all right. Deuces.